What's up, guys? Wade Willis here for my playthrough of Umineko. Sorry, guys, I know it's been so long since I did my last upload for this, and my channel has been a bit dormant overall. Things will be picking up. I've had a lot of personal things going on. The company I was working for had a bunch of layoffs. I made it through, but there was just so much stress going on, and I did not have the mental capacity to really make more videos and stuff. And but yeah, I'm through it. Things will start easing forward. And yeah, again, sorry about the delay of putting up these videos. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this series, continue enjoying this series. I'm excited to see what happens in the rest of this chapter. And yeah, things started heating up with the new character, Erika, I believe was her name. And shoot, guys, let's just get into it. And yeah, guys, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, let's check it out. So very proper way of speaking and stuff. Though Battler George and Jessica didn't have a clue what was going on, they were utterly bewildered. They introduced themselves.
好都合じゃない。これで人数がはっきりするわ。ゲストハウスのバトラーたちが合流し、今客間には金蔵以外のすべての駒が人間が揃った。
そうなるわね。つまり今この客間にいる人数が在当者すべての人数ってことになるわね。
18人いるはずの島が、じいさまが実は死んでて、そこにベルンカステルの駒が1人追加され。
Is it worth one though? The number of humans on this island has returned to 18. Does she count as a human? I don't know. I glanced around at the humans in the parlor. The first guest, Furuto Erika. The guest, Furuto Erika, and behind her, Kumasawa and Shannon. Off to the side was Genji. Uncle Kraus and Aunt Natsui were welcoming the guests. Goda immediately started showing off, and Cannon was being unsociable, wearing his usual blank expression. There was Dad and Kyrie, Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi, Aunt Rosa and Maria, and Dr. Nanjo. And then on either side of me was George and Jessica. This is everyone, the true number of people on the island at the moment. Or so we think.
何しろ、僕たちは全員後宮だからね。気兼ねなく下の名前で呼んでほしいね。僕はジョージ。
俺はバトラだ。よろしくな。
ありがとうございます。ジョージさん、バトラさん。私のこともエリカと呼んでもらえると嬉しいです。
よろしく、エリカさん。
It was decided that Erika would be welcomed like a guest, and allowed to borrow the bedroom next to the cousin's room on the second floor of the guest house. In front of all the relatives, she seemed dignified and a bit stiff. However, when she talked with George and Jessica, her expression began to soften gradually. And so, the detective, Furuto Erika, was placed on the game board. I'm excited for Detective Erika.
ジェシカの昔の服、あんなに似合うなんて思いませんでした。
熊沢が勝手にお嬢様の昔の服を使用し、お許しください。
Those clothes Erika wore were Jessica's old formal attire. Though the guest possessed a dignity that would put most adults to shame, her body was still physically similar to a middle schooler's. Jessica's old clothes fit her perfectly.
いいえ、お客様にふさわしい身なりでしたよ。もし彼女が気に入るようでしたら、
お近づきの印にプレゼントしても良いでしょう。
かしこまりました。ありがとうございます。
警察やご家族には連絡しましたか？
はい。先方も大層ご心配なされていたようです。
Interesting. So the phones are still
ところ
working.
で、客人は本当に事故でしょうね。
ご本人は寄港中のボートから転落したとおっしゃって、
裏付けはありますか？
海保に問い合わせて確認。プレジャーボートの後部から転落したそうで、他の乗員たちは気づかなかったようです。
Okay.
実際の転落地点は分かりませんが、おそらくはここの近海でしょう。
この悪天候に船遊びなど愚かなことです。しかし近海で溺れてこの島に漂着することは考えられるのですか？
ありえないことではありません。この辺りの島には大抵漂流民が流れ着いた伝承がございます。
I would be
お
weary
そら
too.
く事故は真実ではない。この台風です。島のどこであろうとも船での接岸は不可能です。
Genji had already considered what she now suspected. Natsui probably suspected that this mysterious guest who had arrived during the already high-stress family conference might be the agent of some conspiracy. So Genji had already checked to make sure that the accident was real, and that Furuko Erika was a real name. And that there was nothing suspicious going on.
わかりました。主人も丁重にもてなすようにと指示しています。粗相のないようになさい。ですが、わかっていますね。
はい。親族会議には一切近づけません。夕食後はゲストハウスへお引き取り願います。
客人をお父様に挨拶させろというような流れにもならないよう、よく注意する。
もちろんです。心得ております。
ほう、フルドエリカとな。この六軒島に来客とは珍しい。楽しませてくれそうではないか。
ベルンカステル教の駒でしょう。人間のルールに従うとはいえ、侮ることはできませんよ。
問題ない。仮にベルンカステル教本人であろうとも、人間である以上、わらは何しろガープもいる。人間はガープに絶対に勝てぬ。
ありがとう。でも買いかぶりすぎは良くないわ。魔女の定義は魔法が使えることだけを意味したりはしない。
ですが、ジョーカーであり、台風の目である。それが魔女というもの。
この六軒島で魔女と名乗ってよいのはこのわらわ。黄金の魔女にして無限の魔女ベアトリーチェのみである。ベルンカステル教名。エンジェの次なるコマがどの程度のものか、じっくりと観覧させてもらおうぞ。
I still get really confused with the Beatrice that's like this, the one that's like kind of like dead almost, and then whoever's in the it gets Erika's seat was the lowest one in rank. In other words, it was at the inferior end of the table. Since Kizu's seat at the high end of the table was empty, if you spun the whole thing around, it sort of looked like Erika was the host of this dinner.
それでは皆様、本日の晩餐を始めさせていただきたいと思います。
After Goto's announcement, dinner began with an applause that had become almost customary. It was finally the beginning of the dinner orchestra conducted by Gota. Except for Krause's household, sitting at such a majestic dinner table was no everyday thing for these people by any means. However, they were all used to this event and acted as though it was completely normal. Once again, if anyone was to be surprised, it should have been Erika. And yet, she showed no signs of amazement at this dinner and acted with composure. blending in with everyone else. There wasn't even a sliver of fear that one might expect from someone who had wandered here like a lost puppy.
不思議な子ですね。後ろ宮家の1年間で最も豪華な晩餐を前に何も取り乱す。
最近の子は肝が据わってるわ。嫌いじゃないわ、そういうの。
フルドさんはこういう食事には慣れているのですか。大した落ち着きようだ。
ほんまやな。随分手慣れたもんや。
I mean, she is basically like 500 years old or
次は
whatever.
どのフォークを使えばいいんか混乱するんやで。ああ、こっちやったか。それともこっちやったか。
Without showing any confusion over the line of utensils in front of her, Erika gracefully ate her hors d'oeuvres. Hideyoshi started joking around with her, grabbing a fork in each hand. Of course, the president of the company in the food service industry, like Hideyoshi, obviously knew his table manners. However, thinking that Erika might be nervous over this dinner, he had intentionally spoken with a comic tone of voice.
外側から順に使うだけですし、面倒だったらお箸を頼めばいいんです。日本人ならお箸です。お箸はいいですよ。これ一膳あればどんな料理でも
Oh, I
対処で
hate
きます。
chopsticks. As soon as she began talking about chopsticks, her eyes started glittering. That's so interesting. The smile she now showed was for the first time, was far different than the dignity she displayed before. More like something you'd expect from someone her age.
カレーライスはさすがにスプーンでしょ。
丼に盛ればいいんです。牛丼をスプーンで食べる人いますか？いませんよね。日本人なら断じて絶対鉄頭鉄尾お箸です。というわけでゴーダさん、すみませんがお箸をお願いします。私が日本人として恥ずかしくない食べ方をご覧に入れてみせましょう。ところで、
Oh my
次
gosh.
のお料理は何ですか？
それが困
She's
ったこ
starting to
と
really
に。
like feel
次は
herself
スー
now.
プでございまして。
As she imitated a shrugging gesture, Erika winked at everyone. Now she's like the life of the party. This is interesting. Of course, no one was laughing at her. She obviously knew that soup came after hors d'oeuvres in a full-course meal. Furthermore, Erika had noticed that she'd been performing too perfectly and creating a sense of tension, and that Hideyoshi had tried to break the ice because he thought she was nervous. That's why she started acting a little more childish and lighthearted, acting out of the part of a guest enjoying a harmonious dinner. Pretty soon, not only Kyrie but everyone else caught on. Though she was an uninvited guest, she was apparently worthy of participating in an Ushiromiya family dinner.
頭のいい子ね。本当にこの子、偶然の来客なの？実は、今日の親族会議にこっそり読んだ兄さんの隠し子じゃないの？
賢く場を和ますセンスもあるようだ。マナーも見事じゃないか。あんな子が娘だったら悪くはないね。
Dude, these people are so obsessed there already.
それはひでえぜ。ジェシカちゃんの達成がなくならな。
ひどいわ、ルドルフ兄さん。
どうしたんだいジェシカちゃん、頭痛かい？
私の評価がずんずん下がってる気がするぜ。
こりゃ本家の令嬢として負けられねえだろ。お前も日頃夏日おばさんに仕込まれてるテーブルマナーと貫禄で対抗してみろよ。
見たいテーブルマナー見たい
ほら、はしゃぐのはマナー違反だよ。ささ、ジェシカちゃん、お手本を見せてあげて。
もちろんだぜ。
Jessica straightened up so much it looked like someone had poked her back with a pole. She had good posture, but somehow it lacked elegance. She looked, well, kind of like a triangle ruler. She set an intention with her gaze fixed straight ahead and tried to bring her food to her mouth despite this, and failed miserably. Dad, who was sitting next to her, suddenly realized that something was up.
どうしたんだ、ジェシカちゃん。腹でも痛えのか？
Sorry, I can't help myself. We started laughing our heads up. Jessica protested, still bright red. And Natsui scolded us for being too improper. Well, no matter how much we try to smooth it over, we are who we are. We couldn't pretend any longer. Still, that laugh really did help us relax. We were so concerned about the guests getting nervous, we'd gotten even more nervous ourselves. Our chatter from the center of this long table spread to both ends. And ultimately, the dinner went on even more smoothly than usual. With some delicious cheese and coffee, our peaceful meal came to an end. Goda won a unanimous acclaim and was praised by his skill by all present. After a short period of harmony following the meal, it was decided that we would return to the guest house. Normally, dinner tended to have a very dark atmosphere about it, and the adults would often keep that mood as they moved straight onto the family conference. However, perhaps because this year's dinner had been oddly peaceful, everyone decided to take a break, the adults included. After eating, taking a bath, and relaxing while watching TV, I wonder if they'll gather in the mansion with all this rain and resume that high-tension family conference of theirs. I'd rather not think about it. Apparently, Aunt Ava was getting really worked up, trying to convince the rest of the family, the rest to start the family conference right away, but it didn't look like many people agreed with her. They would probably call it quits for the night. Since they had the guest house duty, Goda and Kumasawa were both chosen to guide us to the guest house. It's gotta be tough for Goda. Even after making and cleaning up such an extravagant dinner, he also has the late night shift at the guest house. I heard Kumasawa, old as she was, would be going to sleep soon. It seems she was assigned a spare room.
皆様をゲストハウスまでご案内させていただきます。エリカ様のお部屋もご用意できております。
ありがとうございます。
体調はどうです？具合が悪かったりはしませんか？
ああ、そうだよな。すっかり忘れてたけど、エリカちゃんは溺れてて流れ着いたんだよな。今日は無理しねえで、早く寝た方がいいだろうな。
全然平気です。それよりも緊張と興奮でむしろ寝つけないくらいです。
I bet you are excited.
じゃあ遊ぼう。みんなで遊ぼう。トランプしよう。
Maria latched onto her, giggling. This lack of restraint peculiar to youth was very much like a Maria. However, we really should be concerned for Erika's physical condition now.
マリア、トランプは私たちと一緒に遊ぼう。エリカお姉ちゃんは疲れてるんだってさ。
トランプも好きですよ。
Oh.
一息つきましたら、ぜひご一緒させてください。やったー！
Everyone's like in such a good mood and shit's about to hit the fan.
あれはどちら様ですか？
She passed through the lobby entrance hall. Erika stopped walking. When we saw what she was looking at, the rest of us also stopped.
ああ、あちらは黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ様でございますよ。
黄金の魔女。
何やってんだガキども。さっさとゲストハウスへ引き上げるぞ。
Dad, Kirie, Ava, Hideyoshi, Rosa all came over. The entire guest house party had gathered. However, Erika's gaze was captured by the portrait of the witch, and she simply stared at it for a while.
Ah. 親父は200億相当の黄金を隠し持っていて、その隠し場所をあの碑文に記したって言われてる。
Perhaps it was too early for them to disperse into their individual rooms, because the relatives who would return to the guest house all gathered on the first floor continuing their chat. The topic was the witch's epitaph, which Erika had taken interest in.
魅力的な謎ですね。誰にでも見られるところに堂々と張り出し、 私たちの知恵に挑戦する。
Well, you're almost in the place where you can solve it.
そういう挑戦大好きです。
ひゅー、エリカちゃんは案外ノリがいいな。謎解きとか好きなのか？
面白そうじゃないですか。そういう挑戦、多分金蔵さんはあの碑文によって跡継ぎを選ぼうというつもりに違いありませんね。
When she said that, the adults all stopped moving and slowly turned to face Erika.
どうしてそう思うの？
Aunt Ava spoke with a coaxing voice, though every now and then there had been whisperings among the relatives that whoever saw the epitaph might be given the family inheritance. This had been no more than wishful thinking, since such a thing had never been specifically stated. And yet, though she had only read it once, this outsider had already reached that conclusion. How had she come to it? No, that's not the problem. If you solve the epitaph, you could become the next head. She wasn't trying to make it sound like wishful thinking, but an outright fact. So they closed in around Erika, asking why she was so sure.
大富豪が謎を解いた者に富を譲るというのは割とよくあるシチュエーションです。そしてご当主の金蔵さんはその碑文を新聞に載せたのではなく、お屋敷の中に掲示しました。つまりこのお屋敷の人間を対象にした謎だということです。
It's all very logical.
そうだよな。この屋敷の中である以上、この屋敷に出入りできない者には解きようがない。つまりこの屋敷の人間にじいさまは挑戦してきたってわけだ。
グッド良い思考です。あの碑文が屋敷内にあったという一時からでもその程度のことを読み取ることが可能です。
At first, this Erika girl seemed to be the fairly silent type, but that apparently wasn't the case. As she grew excited by a challenge to a game of wits, she became more talkative than I'd imagined.
なるほどな。屋敷の中に碑文があるんは屋敷の人間に読ませるためってのは確かにどう。
でも家督を譲る相手までも選ぶというのは言い切れるものなの？
この謎を解いて得られる宝がほんのささやかなものでしかないなら、私もそこまでは思いません。
そうよね。隠された黄金の価値は200億。それはまさに後宮家の財産そのものだわ。
それを受け継ぐということは後宮家を引き継ぐことと限りなく同じ意味です。つまり碑文に込めた黄金の隠し場所という謎は後宮家の実質的な後継者選びに他ならないということです。
The idea that the one who solved the epitaph would be chosen as his successor had been passed around by some of the relatives for a while now. However, since it had never been specifically announced, it was nothing more than an optimistic dream. Thinking this, they decided to abandon all consideration of this point until details were made clear. Erika had clearly declared that this uncertain point was, in fact, true. If one of the relatives had said it, people would have thought it would be merely an optimistic dream. However, when it was declared by a complete outsider, those words seemed to be even more credible. Everyone remained silent for a while, slowly considering what the words implied.
ただ碑文がそこに存在するだけで、フルドエリカはこの程度の推理が可能です。いかがでしょうか、皆様方。
横やりで申し訳ねえけどさ、一応はうちの父さんが次期当主なわけだぜ。隠し黄金を誰が見つける云々は見つけたら当主ってのはそういうことにはならねえんじゃねえかよ。
Jessica thought the treasure hunting part of the epitaph was really fun. However, she couldn't help but let her expression go bitter once they started talking about undermining her father's position.
私の推理から演繹する限り、金蔵さんは次期当主のクラウスさんに円滑な当主継承を望んでいないと考えられます。
It's true.
どうしてだよ。
莫大な財産を持つ後宮家の当主なら政治的な意味で 様々な影響力を持つことになるでしょう。ならば本来その継承は厳格であり、一切の紛れが入るべきではありません。
そうね。うちの人の好きな戦国武将の話でもよくあるわ。後継ぎ候補が複数いたりすると、
So funny that none of them like really caught on to this.
そうやな。だからトラブルを未然に防ぐためにしっかりと後継者を指名しておくのが大切なんや。時には競合する後継者を粛清することさえあるんやで。
The Sengoku commander Hideyoshi admired Hideyoshi made his son-in-law Hideetsu commit seppuku. But it was rumored that he might have done this to make Hideyori, who was his real son and born after Hideetsu Tsugu, his true heir. In other words, naming a successor was a way to make it generally known that a single unique person would be acknowledged by everyone, and a way to remove any chance another person becoming an opposing candidate.
グッド。まさにその通りです。あのような碑文の存在はクラウスさんの次期当主の肩書きを危ぶませる意味しかありません。つまり金蔵さんがクラウスさんに当主を円満に継承させたいと願うなら、あのような危険なものをわざわざ人目にさらす理由がないわけです。
そうね。チェス盤をひっくり返せば確かにそう言える。当主は継承するけれども200億の黄金は譲らない。解けた誰かに譲るというのはおかしな話だわ。
Kinzo would pass the title of family head, but he would only give up the 20 billion yen in gold to the person who saw the epitaph. You really couldn't call this passing the headship in the truest sense.
そういうことです。以上の推理により、金蔵さんがクラウスさんを本当に後継者だと認めていたか怪しむことができるわけです。
hearing this random person
そこに存在するだけで
just destroy him
ク
right
ルガ
here.
エリカはこの程度の推理が可能です。いかがでしょうか、
Oh my gosh.
ジェシカさん。
なんだよそれ。
Dude.
何が推理だ。デタラメだ。こじつけだ。
Jessica let her emotions lay bare and glared at Erika. Erika, on the other hand, looked exceedingly calm with an expression that said, "Well, that's just the truth, right? I see. It looks like table manners aren't the only way this girl's fitting for the Yoshiromi family. See if she really does match the family, even when it'd be better if she didn't."
まあまあ、落ち着けよ、ジェシカ。エリカもそれくらいにしろって。
まあその後継者云々の話は置いといてもやな。いずれにせよお父さんからのビッグクエスチョンやというのは間違いない。200億やで。マリアちゃん、もし見つけたら何に使う？
おお、黄金鏡は黄金だけじゃない。もっと神聖な場所なの。
Uncle Hideyoshi kept trying to force himself to chuckle and improve the mood. Everyone else tried to play along, but Jessica's mood didn't get any better.
エリカちゃんも碑文の謎に挑戦してみたくなったのかい？
はい、灰色の脳細胞がうずきまくりです。ですので謎解きを早速始めたいと思います。
George smoothly turned the conversation around, just like the time she made everyone laugh at the dining hall. Erika looked about with gleeful eyes and jumping at the chance.
気に入ったわ。せっかくエリカちゃんが面白がってくれてるんだし、また去年みたいにみんなで謎解きをしてみましょうよ。
私コーヒー入れるわ。欲しい人は手を挙げて。
Interesting way to start the first Twilight.
マリアはダメよ。眠れなくなっちゃうでしょ。
マリアもブラック飲む。ワクワクしません？ こういう謎私は大好きです。
Erika said that and smiled. Though she must have known that she ticked off Jessica and made the atmosphere sour, she just smiled nonchalantly.
別に10月5日の事件を待たなくても解ける謎はあるってわけ。
そりゃ俺も何度か挑んださ。だが
でもさっぱりわからなかったから投げ出して考えるのをやめたでしょ。
It pissed me off, but I don't have a good counter for that. After all, I don't get the epitaph at all. I don't even know what beloved hometown means, much less the parts about the Sweetfish River and the key. Thinking that a few more hints would show up if I waited, I kept on waiting and just stopped thinking.
あなたなりの答えは準備できてる？私が今から解いちゃうから。
何？
ベルンはね、ここで碑文の謎を解いちゃったのよ。さすが奇跡の魔女ね。解ける謎であるならば難易度に関係なく必ず解ける。今度は解くのに何年かけたの？
失敬ね。かけらをほんの数百個ほど漁っただけじゃない。
やっぱり恐ろしいわ、あんたは。
Bringing up the fragments, it's interesting.
それは赤で答えをいきなり語るとかそういうインチキじゃねえんだろうな。
安心なさい。あなたと同じプレイヤーとしてのルールにのっとってよ。じゃあ始めようかしら。ここじゃ狭いわ。海の上で話しましょう。
What?
オッケー。酔わないでね、バトラー。
海って何の話？
The whole world turned pitch black, and the next moment I was struck by a strange floating sensation. This must be what it feels like to suddenly have the floor drop from underneath you, sending you into a bottomless pit. When I looked, I saw that the two witches and I had been thrown into a pitch black universe. In this space, every direction was covered with endless darkness, and it felt like a limitless expanse filled with countless glittering objects. Some people might have likened it to the depths of the ocean where innumerable sparkling fragments drifted. What in the hell?
酔うなと言ったのに。
重力の概念が欲しいなら自分で生み出しなさい。ほら、落ち着いて私たちを見て。ほら、私たちは平気そうにしてるでしょ。足元に大地があって重力に支配されていると信じなさい。そうすれば安定できるから。
Yes, the two witches are standing normally as if their feet were planted on a transparent piece of glass. I'm the only one floating about like someone who is in a rapidly plummeting elevator. When I saw that they were doing just fine, I started coming down, figuring out that there's no need to be scared. Then, just as Lama Delta said, I gritted my teeth and kept telling myself that there was a place to stand here, and that I had to stay calm. Okay. I'm actually going to stop here. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter episode, I think. But yeah, just getting back into the flow with this. Yeah, I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on this. Yeah, because we're starting to get into like kind of a trippier concept. I'm a bit tired, so I don't want to like... I don't know. And I feel like they're going to solve the thing, but I think it's going to like take a while to do. So I don't want to cut that kind of in half. I feel like we're at kind of a decent stopping point here. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, guys.